Hi, and welcome to Paper Root Scrapbooking. I'm Nadine, and today I'm continuing to turn this paper pad to pages by using a bunch of scraps and following along with today's sketch from 30 Days of Sketches with Christy's Beautiful Life. Okay friends, so as I move my way through this paper pad, I am finding that I have an ever-growing stack of scraps piling up, and I'm going to follow along today with what is inspiring me right now, which is Christy's 30 Days of Sketches. And this is the sketch for today, and it's really hard to pick up on camera because it was kind of a faded photo, I guess, when I printed it, but I didn't want to reprint. So it's basically got 2 lines of patterned paper here, 3 squares of patterned paper up here, and a block of patterned paper down here. So I feel like I can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 scraps of paper used up. It's also, the photos look like they're matted with patterned paper, but mine already have a white photo mat, so I'm not sure if I will do that part. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 scraps I think will be a good place to move forward with this stack of scraps I have. So I am going to show you what I've got so far. So I have these 2 photos from my San Francisco trip, and they are all about this tower. It was on our things to see list in the beginning, and then as our trip got shorter because we couldn't get the time off, this was one of the things that disappeared off the list. But when we were waiting in line for our Alcatraz tour, my husband took this selfie to send to our kids because he was super excited to see Alcatraz. And in the background we noticed that the tower was there, so then I took kind of like a shot that was more clear of the tower and was like, well, I guess we're not going to the tower, but we're actually seeing it, right? So anyways, that's what that is all about. That's what this story is. And then I'm going to pick my pieces of paper. So I need a couple that will span the 12. I have just a white piece of cardstock back here for my background. And I need just like a couple of pieces of paper that are going to span across the full 12-inch length. And I'm thinking that I want them to kind of not be too bold, you know? So what am I gonna do? Because they're gonna be behind my photo, and I always want my photos to be the main focus of the photo. But because there's not a ton of color in my photos, I feel like I can still use bright papers. Okay, so I just don't want them to be too picture-y, I guess is what I'm saying. Okay, so I think I'm gonna go with this long strip, and do I want this one? Okay, well maybe, because it's got some tall towers on it, right? No, I think I'm gonna stick with the pink. Okay, so I'm gonna go with those 2 scraps for spanning across the back. And then I need a few like square pieces to go. There's 3, I know it's hard to see on here. There's 3 squares up here, and I'm gonna guess that they're about 4.5 by 4.5, maybe 5 by 5 squares. And so I'm just gonna kind of eyeball it and pick some things that I think would work. And so that's where I think this paper is going to come in, is that there's like towers on here, right? So it's going to tuck in behind. And then this one is pretty basic, but it's really close to this color, so I think I'll skip that one. Maybe one of these. And what else can I use back there? I think the arrows will blend in a bit too much with the white background. What else do I got here? I could use this blue. Okay, so I think that's what I'm gonna go with, is those 3 for my squares in the back. And then the sketch also has a piece of patterned paper down here housing my title. So I think for that part, that's where this pinkish one is good, pinky purple one is going to come in handy. So those are my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 scraps that I'm going to pull from this pile of scrap paper. And let's see what I can do. I'm going to pause the camera here and I'll come back when I have my papers laid down. All right, so here is what I came up with. I took the papers that I selected with you guys, and I did put all 5 papers onto my layout, 6 papers, sorry. And then I took another scrap, and although I didn't mount my photos with the scrap papers, I did mount my journaling on one of the scrap papers. So I actually got 7 different patterns on here and used up quite a few scraps. Now, another thing that I did was I went back to these squares that we talked about last week that I cut from the paper pad cover, and I used them. So see these tags? These are actually these squares. So what I did was I took the square and I cut a corner and then laid that corner on, cut the other corner so that they were the same angle. And then I used that as like a tag piece for my cluster bases. And so I also punched holes in, put eyelets in so that they really do look like tags. And then I put some of the twine that was in my kit onto each tag piece. So I have 3 of those bigger squares. So these aren't the ones I used last week. These are the bigger sized ones. Where are do I have a littler one? So these are the size I used last week, and this is the size I used this week. So these are really great when you start to run lower on embellishment pieces, and they can come in handy that way. So I don't have a whole lot of them left, but I'm hoping to get quite a few more used on my pages. So that is how I made my cluster bases. I took from my sticker books and got some little embellishments on there. I put a yellow puffy heart in each embellishment cluster, as well as a couple of black acrylic arrows from the kit, but I didn't put a black arrow in this one because I already had the black lettering. Now I'm not in love with everything on this layout, so let me tell you, I decided I was going to try the same technique as I showed before, where I took small letter stickers and put them on top of these letter tiles, because I don't have the letters that I need to spell things anymore. But I don't like the look the same way I liked it with the other letter stickers. So I left it here, and I'm going to leave it here because it's fine. I can still read what it says. It's still a title. It's another page for the books. It's just not my favorite. It's not horrible. It's not ugly. It's not, I have to rip this apart. It's just not my favorite. So I probably won't do that again. As for the tower letters, these are some of the basic grade chipboard letters that I had in the kit. And this time around, I painted them with shimmers. So this is, I'm not sure if it's like a certain kind of paint or whatever, but I did win these paints from Shimmers at National Scrapbook Day in 2021. And I don't do a ton of mixed media, so I still have them. And I had to actually go back and watch a video on how to use these because they're dry on the inside. So they're like more like, I don't know, I'm not going to open it. So I had to add water. That was all. And then I used a paintbrush and I painted the letters and I let them dry, and they turned out really cool. Actually, they're very similar in color to this paper up here, so that really draws your eye through the layout. So I do like how that turned out. If I had it to do again though, I would have done them in advance and let them dry, because I used a heat tool and I'm not super good with the heat tool. I'm impatient and I tend to bake things. And so what does Vicky Booten say? Cook it, don't bake it, or I don't know. Anyway, heat it, don't bake it. I can't remember. Anyways, I baked it. So there are some bubbles in there, but they're not really noticeable. Again, it's not something I'm going to tear apart and throw away. I didn't throw the letters away. I still put them on my layout. They're fine. Nobody's gonna notice except for me, and well, maybe now you guys. So that is my titling. I got this sticker out of the planner stickers that I added to my kit. I also added some enamel dots from Pink Fresh that I recently added to my kit. And I think that's about it. So I have all the things that a layout needs. I have my base, I have my patterned paper, I have my photos, my title, my journaling, and my date, and then I have my finishing touches. So, and I did follow along, like I said, with the papers very closely, but I did not, and I even put the title where it was on the sketch, but I did not embellish in the two places where the embellishments were on the sketch. So if you can see, there's a flower embellishment cluster here and one here, and I decided to keep mine closer to the photo. That seems to be my go-to lately, so got to keep in tune with my own style, right? All right, so that is it for today. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please click that like button to give me a thumbs up. Hit the show more button under the video description if you'd like to find links to some of the things we talked about today, and if you have a question or comment, please leave it down below. I love hearing from you. If you would like to see more of my videos, it would make my day to have you as a subscriber if you're not already. Just click the subscribe button and be sure to hit the notification bell if you'd like to be notified when a new video goes up. Have a great day, everyone. Bye for now.